Right. Oh, I got to.
Comedy venture, driving around the country. Him and a couple of buddies just telling jokes. Oh, sometimes funny things happen. Why I do the show.
That's the reason.
Amy asked me lots of questions, but mostly if I got laid.
Not this week.
Biggie's comedy venture. It's Biggie's comedy venture. Biggie's comedy venture. Biggie's comedy venture.
I like the fact that in this song, in a 30-second song, I insinuate that the reason I do this show is because I'm traveling the country and telling jokes, and sometimes funny things happen. And that's the reason for the podcast. Just kind of like, some funny shit might happen. Maybe I should talk about that.
Yes, exactly.
That's the reason. The whole reason for the show is because sometimes funny things happen on the road. Hello, Amy. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm good. It's funny.
Wearing the hat?
Yes, I'm wearing the hat, and that's a catchy tune. I gotta tell you, because
It is.
I've started, I think you know this, but I tend to work my dog's names into everything, like all music in some fashion. And so
Miggy and Diesel, by the way.
Miggy and Diesel. So I'll be walking around going, Diesel's comedy venture.
Diesel could have they both could have a podcast about themselves, to be honest with you.
Yes,
but
for sure.
I mean, their podcast would involve mainly, though, I would want to, my number one question would be, why does the same truck that rolls up every day get them so excited?
Yes.
Why? I don't understand
I think that I've come to the conclusion that they think that they're bringing them something. And like they're just like super excited about it. That's
as good an explanation as any, to be honest.
Because Miggy, especially, like even after it's delivered and the person is gone, he continues to just bark at the door, like, bring it in, bring it in.
Right. That's a good point. Yes. That is a good point, and that could be most likely an answer. A funny thing that happened today, I would say on this trip, another thing that's interesting to me is, like, we've referenced it on other podcasts of the two hippies, one drunk versions, but like, and I think I've referenced it to you even, but like, it seems like in my past when I would hear people on tour, and I'm talking about people that done it for years, and tour and how they talk about knowing things or forgetting things or misplacing where they are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I honest to God was always like, bullshit. Come on, you know what I mean? You know where you are, you know what's going on. Right. You remember, I mean, I don't think they remember every concert necessarily, but like you kind of remember things. You remember when things.
Yeah, and now it's just all blending together.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm only 4 months, and I say only, that's a lot for me, but only 4 months on one time. Not like I've done 5 tours with a band or something like that. Like one time, and we're sitting here getting ready to do this show. What I said, like, would be 5:30 be okay? And earlier, and you're like, yeah, that sounds good. And we did our Two Hippies, One Drunk on the Road episode, and I thought, this is good. I have about an hour. I was gonna eat my lunch and then get ready, and then all of a sudden, like, you're like, hey, I could go a little earlier if you want, and I was like, yeah, I guess. But it was like,
it was really only 10 minutes earlier. It was like 5:20.
Right. It was only like, and it's like I'm sitting here at like 4 o'clock, kind of going like, or 4:30, kind of going, or no, 4:10 here, like going like, yeah, I guess.
You're in Tennessee right now, and they are
Memphis, Tennessee, correct. Home of Elvis Presley. Although we will not be going to Graceland.
Oh, you're not going to Graceland?
The only thing about this trip is honestly,
in Memphis.
Is that an Elvis song?
No, I was
gonna say
they reference Graceland in it.
Okay, yeah. No, the thing about this trip is that's kind of is a bummer, and it's not a big deal. Like, I'm not whining about it, but the money is all focused just to get us where we need to go.
Yeah, how much you need to go to fucking Graceland? How much do you need?
$25.
You know what? Settled. I'm going to send you money after this. If I send you money, will you? And
here's the thing. I will tell you this. I appreciate this. I'll appreciate this. In this setting, here's the problem, Amy. I will save your $25 for something. Here's the problem. Tomorrow, based on the timing that we're going to go to our next place, I don't really want to spend the time. Like, I would have done it today. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it, and we'll save it for another one that I really want to see. But but my point is, it's still broader though. Like there's like touring the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville and stuff like that, where it's like, it's just that all adds up. I mean, I know like you kind of joke like, oh,
for sure. No,
how much does it take to do?
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do them all. I understand.
Well, it's like, I have to keep telling myself at times I'm not on a vacation. It's fun.
Right. Yeah.
Like today, my lunch, like when we from now on where we're staying there for more than one night, I not only, of course, take the free breakfast, which is not free because I'm paying for a hotel, but I make them into breakfast and lunch. Like I had like oatmeal and an egg sandwich that I eat my breakfast, and then I make sure I have something else for lunch because it's trying to save as much money as I can. I know what you're saying. I appreciate the Elvis thing, and that would be cool. And by the way, the $25 I think is like for the very, very bottom end. There's like 4 tiers of Graceland tours you can do, and some of them are in the hundreds of dollars. I mean,
so someone was asking me today, like where you're going next before like your little break. Are you going to the east? I forgot. Are you doing the east
west?
Coast?
So we're on our way.
West?
We're on our. It sounds so douchey. Again, if I wasn't me, I think this would sound so douchey. But we are now definitely on our third trip across the country, because now we're in Memphis, Tennessee, and eventually in 6 weeks or so we'll be out on 5 to 6 weeks. We'll be out in San Francisco on the West Coast again, and then up to Seattle, then back through the northern part of the country, and we'll do the East Coast in the fall.
Gotcha. So, when are you going to Alaska?
Middle of June.
Nice.
Middle of June. So it should be good. And it's like that's
coming up.
Well, all these things.
So you're flying to Alaska.
Flying to Alaska, correct?
Okay.
And that is the thing. Like these weird things. Like I do have it set up. We are gonna be through these My Vegas points I have. There's a game that if anyone doesn't know about.
I remember.
There's this game called My Vegas Slots. Anybody that has a budget, if you don't have a budget, you're fine. But if you have a budget and you want to go to Vegas, you start playing this game, and I've never put $1 into My Vegas Slots. Never. Yeah. I've only played the game for free. And like in Vegas, for example, we're there on a big week too, because I kind of wanted to maybe try to go to a day of EDC, this big electric music festival in Vegas. They only sell weekend passes, but if you show up Sunday, sometimes people that have been a little partied out will sell their passes for cheaper. But we're staying in Vegas. Very expensive time to stay, and we have a Sunday, Monday night at the MGM, for example. For like one night is free, and one night is $100.
So you're still using that app? I mean, you've been doing that for years.
I'm going to get 2 free nights at a place up in Reno on this trip as well. That I've already literally cashed in and have the reservation set into these places. These are like $300 rooms. Wow. And we're getting them you got to pay the resort fee, but $35 a night. I mean, and it's through this app. Back in the day, I used to say I should get a commercial money for it, because I would tell anybody that was going to Vegas, dude, get on My Vegas Slot.
That's too funny.
So the point is like these weird things for like Vegas and like Alaska that I'm looking in your normal life. Those would be like, I would literally be like, oh my God, Vegas in 4 weeks. Hell yeah. And I think
Alaska is going to be really special. How long are you going to be there?
5 days in Alaska. Okay. So I think that will be, you're right.
But that's more of like a once in a lifetime type thing.
Sure.
You can go to Graceland whenever, you can go to Vegas whenever, but you're not going to be in Alaska.
No, and my sister and her husband are going to be coming, and my buddy Chubbs. And
to Alaska?
They're flying to Seattle and then going. Yes, they're flying into Seattle and they're coming up with me to Alaska. So,
oh my God, how fun is that?
And I haven't told Lauren, and she doesn't listen to all these, but she does listen to some. So I'm not going to reveal this even on here. But I have a very cool Airbnb up in Fairbanks that I think that it should be very fun.
Nice. And so when you're there, it's going to be light all the time, right?
I guess probably.
Yeah.
And I will say this, as far as the comedy goes, I'm basically like just rolling the dice. I mean, I have to book dates. You can't just go to Alaska. And so from what I know, we're doing a Wednesday to late Monday night thing. Like we're going to fly in early Wednesday, fly out very late Monday night, for example. And from what I read into, there is an open mic in Anchorage, Alaska on Wednesdays. It says it's the longest running open mic in the city, this and that. So assuming that doesn't fall through between now and 6-7 weeks from now, I do have comedy set up for Anchorage, Alaska. So that's good. But so that would be anyway. What I wanted to get into is two things, and the sports aspect of it with Miggy's 3000th home run.
Yeah, I see that you got a Tiger shirt on there.
I am wearing my you know what's when I went back home, I brought a backpack full of shit that I wasn't going to bring back with me. I'd packed too many clothes. Not really, Amy. I know when you said, "Oh," I mean in the sense that once I've been on this trip, dude.
Yeah, I get it.
I just watch
I'm the same way though. I overpack and I wear the same shit. So It's like I would be the exact same way.
It's like I have a big green bag with some other stuff. Like if I need to go to a nicer thing, like, but most not going to a bar scene or really that's it. If we're not going out to like a club night or randomly maybe an online date or something, I just go through the stuff I do. And I keep washing them. Like, I'm going to do laundry tonight after this or whatever. And it's just like, so anyway, I brought back a lot of shit home that I wasn't going to bring back so it could lighten the load. But I did make a swap. And I swapped out my Michigan gear for my Tigers gear because it's the summer.
Nice.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
Yes.
And I have to thank Amy is the reason I got to watch the 3000th hit. And you went, which is awesome. What was that like? I mean,
oh my God, it was so cool. Well, we have season tickets but we did not give away any of these surrounding games.
Yeah,
we wanted to be able to go down there.
How long, like how many games were you willing to mark it out?
We kept all the Yankees series and then we kept all of the Rockies series.
Yeah,
so I mean, 2 full home
it was just
series.
one hit.
Well, especially when against the Yankees after he got all of those
3 hits
and he was only 1 away. It was like, okay. So the next day was the day game. Went down there. He goes 0 for 3, and then on the 4th one they intentionally walk him, and it was just like, you have got to be. And I get it. I am a baseball fan. I'm a baseball nerd. I get the strategy. That was behind bullshit. It. But it was Bush League.
That was bullshit because you know what? We're not playing for the World Series right now. This isn't a playoff game. It's a historical monument. Throw him the fucking ball. And what a pussy of a pitcher to not do that.
Exactly. And I mean, it's kind of like bunting to get out of a no-hitter.
I
agree. It's just like a Bush League move, sort of. You know,
I mean, why can't you him? Throw it to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to get a hit. You can strike him out.
Such bullshit.
Yeah.
So I was so pissed about that.
You know what, though? I think it worked better, though.
Yeah.
Real quick, because that happened, then the rain delay, and then for that game that you were at, that was from what I looked like, I mean, I don't think it was sold out, but it was very
It was, I think they said it was the biggest crowd since opening day of like 2017.
Wow. Yeah.
It was, I think it was like 33,000 people, and I think 37 or 40 is sold out. So yeah, I mean, we all day long, I'm looking at the radar on Friday and I'm like, well, this is going to get canceled.
Yeah. So, this isn't happening.
And I'm just, because what I kept thinking about too, was what if they start the game, he's batting third, he gets a hit, and then the game gets postponed and that hit gets taken away.
That would be fucking,
like, I know that had to come into play because they're not going to let that happen. So, but I mean, Saturday was just perfect for a doubleheader. And then, but what happened was, oh my God, I was so stressed out because there was a Red Wings last home game.
Yeah.
Then there was this game. The traffic was insane. So I finally park in my parking spot at like 105. The game starts at 110.
Yeah.
And Mickey's batting third.
Right.
So I run to the entrance and I get to the entrance at the Big Tiger and there's probably 5,000 people waiting to get in.
My God.
And
I was like,
but I was by myself. So, of course.
You went by yourself?
Well, no. So, I met down there my boss and my coworker.
Okay. I was going to say, that would say a lot.
Okay. So, I traveled by myself down there. And so, I see all these people. I'm like, well, I'm not going to make it in. So, I, might be the blonde hot privilege. I don't know. But, of course, I walk right to the front. And I just merge right in and I got in.
I would not have let it go by the way. I would have been like, no, bitch, back
they
to the
didn't
line.
say anything to me.
These simpleton guys. I'm just kidding.
I know. And so I got to my seat probably right at the bottom of the first. And so and then he got it. So there was probably like still 5,000 people outside
that didn't get to see the hit.
That didn't see it.
They'll all say they were there, though.
I know.
And I would say this, and I'm going to get into my watching experience, but like people could say like whether this was the idea of whether this is relevant or not. And here's and for one, it doesn't matter. I'll talk whatever I want to talk about. But here's the thing why I think it is relevant. Like I've noticed, like on this trip, the rare time I talk to my sister or talk to a buddy, these little things of home are kind of nice. And the sports thing is something that like I can connect with. I can know that what to think through and stuff like that. And so it's like it's kind of is a connection to home, even though again, my God, what was me 4 months? I know people go on the army duties. I get it, but I haven't done this. I have never been home for this long. And so I think that sports is such it's a thing that can eventually it does make me feel like I'm still part of something back home. And unfortunately now I know the team is kind of okay. I know they're an exciting team to watch without without them being good enough full on to be making a run. It won't be the same. Yeah. But yeah, luckily to you, by the way, for giving Amy hooked me up with a password to watch. And it's just a better thing because I mean, literally, when I heard, by the way, that they went to a doubleheader, I was pissed. Yeah. Because in my mind, I knew that meant I was going to be in the car during that period. Like I was all ready. And so let me tell you, Amy, let me tell you how my Friday went. And that's where like I was not one thing on that Friday. And the last little nugget I had was that the Tiger game was on and Miggy would probably get a hit. And when I saw the delay, I was just like,
oh my God.
So here's what the deal was. We were going to go to Nashville. And when you have a Marriott card, they do get you weird. They give you this like free night as a gift. And how points work, for example, the hotel we're staying at tonight cost me 10,000 Marriott points on my card. So they're free, but point system. But they'll give you 35,000 points once a year. Right. And so I picked Nashville because Nashville is expensive. I did not realize how expensive it was. Yeah. And I picked Nashville and I thought like, okay, the other room was still $200, but I'm getting a free room. So kind of a 2-for-1. Anyway, long story, long story. We go to get our groceries at Walmart about a half hour away from our hotel. We drive all the way to the hotel and I just look down. I'm like, yeah, I don't got my wallet. I don't have my wallet. Second time in a week, by the way. Yeah. I know. Second time in a week. My God. So we call back to the Walmart.
And weren't they both at a fucking Walmart?
Yes, both at a Walmart. Jesus. I call back. We call them. They don't have it. But you have to still drive there. You can't just have them say like, yeah, sorry, no one's turned it in. You have to still drive and look, right? Right. So we go.
Did you have any idea of where you left it?
No, because I didn't really do that much. I probably by the self-checkout, I guess. But I don't know. This wasn't like the last time where I stopped and bought some lottery ticket. I went right outside.
Oh my God.
It's not there. And so now my mind, I really lost it because my mind is like, forget even it's like my ID's in there. How am I going to get an ID when I'm on the road? And my credit card, my Bonvoy card, like without, and I did hide credit cards throughout the van. So I did have a credit card I could use things for. That's smart. But also my problem was if it had been other places, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But this was like Nashville and I wanted to go and my whole plan to go down and like, there's no guarantee they're just going to let you in without an ID, even though it's like obnoxious because I'm literally almost 40 years old. Right. They ID'd me when the end.
And you don't have a passport on you or anything?
I don't have any. Later I found out I did have a picture of my ID in my phone. Maybe people would be okay with that, but you never know. It's not a guarantee. Yeah. Anyway, I kind of lose it because I don't know what to do. I'm incredibly pissed at myself. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, fuck, just yelling out the window and stuff. We don't know what to do. So then we finally say to each other, we come up with this conclusion and we were like, okay, you have the free room tonight. You're paying I thought I had the free room Friday, paying for the room Saturday. So we said, Nashville's out. It sucks. I hate this, but I'm not going to do this if I can't get into bars, if I don't have an ID. So then we go in. It turns out that like Saturday was the free night, not Friday. So I'm not even sure if I can it's like, I don't even know what to, because now I don't know where we're going to stay. There's just like a lot going on.
I mean, what? Neither of the guys you're with have credit cards?
No.
Are you serious?
No, one of them has one, I think.
So, I mean, they are not even in a position that could be like, you pay us back, but we got this.
Well, I have a credit card. But my main point is like, when I'm deciding not to stay, my thought was like, well, because this hotel, here's where this came in. I thought my hotel was $250 for a night, right? And I'm thinking I'm going to have to pay, because originally I thought I'll take the free night still, see what happens. Maybe something can work out, right? But like now I'm like, I don't want to pay $250 if we're not even going to be in Nashville tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I spend hours trying to decide what to do, or an hour trying to decide what to do. I finally decide to go for a hotel. Oh, and the other aspect of this, Amy, is we can't just go to a regular hotel, because we had got a Residence Inn, and all the food we all bought was based on the fact that we have a stovetop and an oven. So we can't just go to a Super 8, because we literally have like chicken and stuff to make. Right. So I go to another hotel, and I end up, because I still go to a Residence Inn because we need to go to something, and I might as well use my points still, because even though my credit card's gone, you can go through the app.
Yeah.
And we're driving there, and I'm already mad. I'm mad I lost my license. I'm mad I don't think I got to go to Nashville. And there's like all this going on. And then I finally go, yeah, see, that room would have been too expensive. So at least this room I'm getting is saving me money. And then I find out that the room that I just turned down was actually less money than the room I just paid for.
No.
By $15. And it's like, then we get there to the hotel, and I don't have any of this stuff. The online thing isn't working, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, then things, and like the Tigers game came into play. I went out, just all these little things that I was.
But I mean, I saw you in bars, so they must have let you in.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, So here's where it goes. I was so mad at myself that Friday night. I mean, I was.
And I mean, did you have to call and cancel all your credit cards?
Well, here's the thing though. So here's what we happened. When we went to Walmart, my buddy called, right? And this lady's like, we don't have it. And we're like, well, we have to come up anyway. So we look. When we get there, I go up and the lady's like, yeah. She goes, I go, I was in here a little bit earlier. I lost my wallet. She goes, yeah, cartoon color, white collar with cartoon, have it. She doesn't even look, by the way. She just says, don't have it. I'm like, so I didn't fully trust that this lady looked. And so I had it in my mind. I'm like, I'm going to call in the morning when someone new is working, just in case. Mm-hmm. And in the morning, I called up and I said, oh, I was in there last night. I very specifically said last night, not in the day, because I wanted, if it was the same person, to think it was someone different. Yeah. And I was like, I was in there last night, long shot. Anyone turn in a wallet? And someone did fucking turn in a wallet.
Stop it.
Yes, they turned it in. But and it's like, so now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you got it back.
But yes, I did get it back. But here's the thing, Amy. I'm still sitting there trying to decide whether to do Nashville. I'm like, I've spent $50 at this point between gas. I've ordered a new. ID online that's going to be shipped to my parents' house. And like the other hotel that was more money. So in my mind, I'm like, I already spent $50. In reality, my money, which by the way, Venmo, Eric Fady, if you want to help out. But like my money will run out before I come back home. It most likely will run out about the end of June, early July. So like in reality, I started saying to myself, dude, you went through all this. Nashville's going to be expensive. You should just not do it. And then we talked about it, and we said, well, what if you just stick to a budget, right? You just say to yourself, I know you're going to want to drink a bunch of beers. Just tell yourself you can only drink $60 worth of beers, right? Or whatever that is.
Yeah.
So we decided we're going to do it. I, believe it or not, call up, get my $35,000 back on my thing, find a hotel in downtown Nashville for 20,000 points, only 2 miles away from the strip. I'm like, badass. Okay, fine. Sucks. Great. We go to the Walmart. By the way, when we go to the Walmart, I walk in right away. Same lady from the other day. She goes, not here. It's not here. I'm like, called. It is here. And then she asked somebody else. And she never apologized to me, by the way.
Are you serious?
All she did in the end was kind of go, well, see, I didn't know it got turned in. So that's why I said no.
Oh my God. I can't believe she said something to you. I would have gone off on that lady so hard. I would have been like, literally, bitch, it is here. And that's why I'm fucking here.
Dude, seriously. I just walked up and she just looked at me and goes, it's not here. I'm like, well, I know it's here though. I know it's here though. So, and I will say this, they said they claimed it got turned in the morning, by the way. And the lady that said that, I really believe her, because it was a different lady. Because I said, just kind of curious, we got kind of found. And she's like, I don't know, but I know it got turned in earlier this morning. So I will say this too. I don't usually have cash on my wallet because I don't like it. I use points anyway. I do believe I had 220s in there. I think someone took the 20s and turned in the wallet. I don't know. Take the 5 other singles though. There was like 2 20s and some singles. I don't know why they didn't take it all, but okay, it is what it is. I wouldn't take people's money, but at least they turned in the wallet. I got the ID and the credit cards. So it doesn't end there though, Amy. It does not end there. So okay. I drive down to Nashville. I'm like, you know what? It is what it is, man. Got my thing. Still going to get to kind of experience Nashville. I'm going to kind of try to do it. This will be a good lesson for me. Maybe I can, really tell myself, hey, you can only drink a certain amount of beer because, you got to make up for this money you already spent. And kind of as a lesson, as it were. We get to the hotel. He goes, we do have a room for you, but it's for tomorrow night. I made it for Sunday night. And now I'm sitting here again, just kind of going, oh my God, this is not meant. I'm sitting here like it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be.
Oh my God.
So then I have to call up Marriott again to try to get my 1,000 points back on my card again. And I did the hotel that I was originally going to stay. I could have done that. But my problem was that was like 8 miles out of town. And my buddy Scott was saying he was being very gracious. He said he'd be willing to drive us, even though it was a further drive. But it was like so draining, and the money, and it's a lot different to me because he was going to have to go through highways, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in the end, I'm like, hey, if you'd be willing to sit around in the van for a few hours, what about this compromise? Money is an issue for me. I'm not on a vacation. What if me walk around in the afternoon, give us about 3 hours, we'll do a little day drinking, check out the scene, and that will kind of be it. And that way I'll keep my budget down. And, I'll still say I saw it. And that's what we did. But
so he didn't even go with you?
No, he just went off and did his own thing. And for a little bit, which actually at one point, he actually ended up cleaning the van out really awesome. So that was actually really nice of him.
You only got 3 hours?
We did about 3 hours or 4 hours in Nashville in the end.
Oh, bummer.
And I will tell you this. So having said that, I did not realize that the drinks in Nashville, like I should have realized it would be like Bourbon Street or like Vegas. But I thought it would still just be regulars. And I mean, dude, when we were at Tootsie's, which is one of the more famous ones, I mean, it was like $10 for a Bud Light.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Alan Jackson's bar, which was heaven for me. I fucking loved it. Yeah. But it was $6 for a Busch Light. Yeah. $6 for a 12er of Busch. I mean,
fight inflation, baby.
I don't fight inflation. I think
everything is more expensive.
Well,
that Busch Light was probably $5 last year.
Okay, maybe, but I get the impression that that's what Nashville has. Because when you go to Broad Street, it's like I said, it's like Bourbon Street. It's like going to Duval Street, and it's like dude. Having said that, Amy, I said to Tyler, well, the one benefit is this will be kind of nice. It will be a little more low key because it's only 2 PM, in a way. And here's my one thing I told both the guys too. In a world where I wasn't looking to get laid, this would be the better thing anyway. Like, save some money, experience it, be home in a cheaper hotel later, right? Like if you took the getting laid at like last call at night out of the situation, this is what I would do anyway. And so that's always.
How many times does that actually work though?
But you got to play to win, Amy.
That's true. That's true.
Got to play to win. But so anyway, it was very like, oh, this is in the afternoon though. Maybe it'll be a little. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's always like that. Now we also found out that the marathon was that day, the National Marathon. The road that people go on and bar hop was fucking packed.
Yeah, I think it's always like that.
Okay, well, I loved it. It was packed, and I need to go back.
You need to go back because that city was made for you.
It was
literally a city that was made for Eric Fady.
No, it was. I sat there, and Alan Jackson's bar. I only got to go to 2 because we really wanted to, and I went there.
Rocks.
So the reason I went to Tootsie's only because it's very famous and it's known also at times for like during like stars on the weekends when they're doing the Grand Ole Opry will be known sometimes to literally go between the first and second show and get a little drunk because it's literally like back alley to the Ryman Auditorium.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. And the only reason I only turned AJ's because I had a limited time, limited budget. And I had seen on Alan Jackson's thing, like he keeps the theme is like real country, not like you're not going to go in there and kind of hear some some AC/DC, like you get like 90s country kind of theme to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
chose it.
Heaven.
Oh, dude, I could have sat in that bar from open till close and have because it has 4 floors. One of them's a karaoke floor.
Nice. And, oh my God, that is just right up your alley.
Rooftop bar at the top.
Oh boy.
In which, by the way, I paid some guy $20 to play a Pat Green song. So
you did?
Well,
money is not an option when it comes to Pat Green.
Right, right. No,
who's fucking eating oatmeal for lunch.
Well, you got to eat those oatmeals.
Pays $20 to hear a Pat Green song.
Well, the oatmeal eating is what allows me to pay. I meant to pay $10, by the way. I meant to do a $10 tip, a virtual tip, because I didn't have any cash. But I accidentally did it twice somehow. And so I meant to do 10 in fairness. All I said later was there could be worse things to pay $20 to than to at least the artist, at least a dude trying to make a living.
Yeah.
Play stuff. So that was my Nashville. And I'm going to say one more little story, Amy, only because I think it's funny enough as it is. Get out of Nashville. I'm buzzed and I'm feeling very good. And I'm like, and I'm like, I had looked away. Come back here. Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I just said I look away, and that's when it.
Here, keep it. Keep
hello.
Kick back. Here, like try it one more time.
Okay.
Are you talking?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
You're really quiet though.
Happened. You were frozen.
You're really quiet.
I am.
Try coming back out and coming back in one more time, just to see if that helps. Can you hear that? Yeah. So anyway, for the audio, I guess this is what it is. But so I was looking. These reviews were terrible for these hotels. I mean, I feel like she's going to be back here anyway in a second here, so we'll have to see how this works. You there?
Yes.
Okay. Shit! It's doing that fucking audio thing, man. Try talking a little more.
Well, I don't know if it's your internet or if it's my.
It's definitely not. It's okay. Let me do this. You stay here.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here. And you can follow me on Twitter at awakenotwoke17. Yeah. I was just giving my Twitter handle.
Damn it, dude! I don't. Okay, talk again.
Awake, not woke.
Damn it, dude! It's not working, man. There's something you're like muffled. Or something.
All right, maybe we should cut it off here then.
Okay. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you go and I'm gonna finish the story.
All right.
And I'll talk to you next week because I'm already in the middle of it. Okay.
All right.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
So what I'm gonna say is, so this is what happened basically. It was kind of funny. I was gonna go to this bar and I was drunk and I'm like blah blah blah. And so in the end, we're driving, and I have to pee because I've been drinking. And we're starting to pull off, and I'm recognizing some little things. Like it just seemed odd. Like I just like the amount of the stores that were there, just a few little signs that were there that like, dude, I feel like we stopped here before already. And it turned out it was like literally the exit where we stayed on the very first night on this trip back on December 27th. So it's about 17 weeks later. We're at the same exit. And at this point, it's still an hour to go before Jackson. And I just was like, you know what? This is a sign. It'd be really hilarious. We're going to stay at the same hotel that we did 17 weeks ago on the very first night of this. I think if it had been the second night or others, it wouldn't have been as significant. But being the first night, I thought that was really dope. And I ended up getting rather intoxicated sitting in the parking lot in my chair. I wish Amy was here for this now that I think about it, but because she would be laughing at this. But I was sitting there, and at one point, me and Scott were sitting there talking and loudly, because both of us tend to have louder voices. And some lady comes out to ask us to be quiet. And I'm literally sitting in a chair from the hotel room in the parking lot outside my minivan. And there's like 6 bush lights on the fucking ground. God, I wish Amy was here for this, but it's all right. But it was kind of funny. So in the end, we stayed at that hotel. I thought that was kind of funny. I'll let story to Amy anyway, just because of the situation. But that's where I'll end this week's episode. thanks to Amy, even though she had to leave via some weird internet issues on her end or mine. I'm not quite sure. That's what you get when you do stuff like this. But this was this week's Biggie's Comedy Adventure. Just a reminder, we also do the 2 Hippies, 1 Drunk show every Wednesday. The On the Road episode, we just recorded one today. So if you haven't checked those ones out, those are really good. And we do a road life episode that, what was the last one we talked about? The last one was Scott interviewed me about the videos that we've been doing on the trip. So that's another thing. So many of you have given money, and we really, really appreciate it. If you have already given money, still really appreciate it if you could go like or review our shows on iTunes or Spotify, or like the dumb little videos I do, or the pictures, drawings that Tyler does. Sharing those to your personal page are a really big deal with the algorithm and whatnot. And then the Venmo, obviously, Eric Fady. So, yeah, I guess that will be it for this. God, it stinks that Amy wasn't there, because I think that would have been funny to have her hear that story. But it's all right. That's how it goes. All right, see ya. Bye.